Hello, everybody. So let's begin by a very simple question. For all the students here, which one of you have recently used an AI text generator on one of your recent assignments?
Don't answer that, that's a trap. But more seriously though, I'm sure that all of you have recently seen the words artificial intelligence everywhere across media channels. In fact, there's been ChatGPT, AI for speech-to-text, image generation, self-driving cars, and even AI used in pharmacy contexts. And this growing technology has many people concerned about its implications, such as increased plagiarism, having issues with AI biases, and economical impacts.
As computer science students, we have also seen the effects of AI in programming. Just this past year, AI has been able to generate fast and efficient computer code. And it's actually really good at programming that a lot of our professors are concerned about students using them for our programming assignments. And they came together and created an AI detection software for computer code. On the flip side, though, we've also seen the development and creation of a lot of really fascinating AI-driven technologies which change people's productivity across different industries.
And let's look at some examples of my favorite AI so far. AI-created art. So here's Van Gogh's Starry Night, but instead of the sky, they have stars as cats. And here's an oil painting portrait of a capybara wearing medieval royal robes and an ornate crown on the dark background. Here's the Golden Gate Bridge in the style of Monet. And a hot dog lover, Shiba Inu, working as a coder. And as you probably have seen also, ChatGPT is someone, or not someone, an AI who's as smart as a friend. And it's so smart that I could ask it to help me generate some healthy meal ideas and even ask follow-up questions such as, how do I actually make number 2 and like the specific sauce? But even though AI is incredibly powerful, we want to assure you that AI is actually not that scary with our little bit of expertise in computer science. In fact, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to be able to understand AI.
So traditionally, we like to associate speech or art with a high level of intelligence and maybe some self-awareness. So it's natural to believe something like Siri or ChatGPT could also harbor some kind of self-awareness. But that's not necessarily the case. It's important to understand that these computer programs are created with the goal to behave like humans. But the way that they achieve this behavior is vastly different. As an analogy, both a bird and a helicopter can fly, but the way that they achieve flight is different. So this is like a general AI flowchart where a lot of AI models work similarly. So for AI to work, it must be trained. So training is when an AI carefully analyzes a huge amount of previously collected data set to collect as many patterns and details as possible. After training, an AI is ready to take on user input. An AI will generate an output based on what it understands about the about the training data. And this output will be converted into an action item, so a meal idea, a painting, or in a case of self-driving cars, a steering input or pressing on the brakes.
So in terms of actual training data, in order for AI to know what it's looking at, it doesn't just all of a sudden know. So actually, the training data that it has to be fed in must be associated with specific keywords. So on the top left, for example, we could feed it Van Gogh's Starry Night, and it would associate with the keywords Van Gogh, Starry Night, and the sky. Similarly, it might look at other images of the night sky, and the user would tell it that there's keywords like sky, night, and trees. And the AI model would then learn from these two pictures and see, oh, they both have the keyword sky. It must have something in common. And when you ask it to then generate something, such as this picture here, it would know that the sense of idea of a sky is something to doing here, based off of all the input data it has received.
So actually, we are not that unfamiliar with the whole business of data labeling and data training, because we've been doing it all along for CAPTCHAs. So CAPTCHAs is a human authentication software where they will give you a keyword and you will try to pick the images that contain the word. Some very smart users have noticed that most of these words have to do with important things a driver must be aware of on the road, such as crosswalks, stop signs, traffic lights, and school buses. Have you ever wondered why this is the case? As you may have guessed, CAPTCHA is actually labeling data for self-driving car AIs. So when you select the images that contain the stop signs, you are actually refining the way that these AIs would detect stop signs in the real world. So as you can imagine, there are many, many people around the world labeling data for self-driving AIs. So this really is a collective effort to make self-driving safer for all.
So we saw so many cool examples in the powers of AI. Now, are you kind of worried that AI might be starting to become so powerful that it might take away your jobs? Well, this was a similar worry for a lot of people back in the time of the Industrial Revolution. So in the early 18th century, steam-powered engines just became a new invention, and it was so groundbreaking at the time that it transformed a lot of industries. For example, the power loom here was a machine that suddenly enabled mass production of textiles. And the traditional hand loom weavers at the time were very anxious and concerned as they thought it would quickly render their jobs obsolete. However, to their surprise, their jobs are actually not gone, and they were able to become the power loom operators, taking the most benefits and efficiencies from the power looms. And with this increased efficiency, the prices of textiles were now going down, and it became so affordable for everyone that demand suddenly rocketed. And now the hand loom weavers, who are now the power loom operators, all of a sudden made a lot more money, and people are able to have better quality materials at the time. AI is very similar. Some recent research by OpenAI out in March states that over 80% of jobs would be increased in productivity by at least 50% through AI and its co-inventions. And with all of these increased productivity, people would be able to dedicate their time towards doing more useful things, such as considering the ethical impacts and social impacts of our inventions, and making sure that all of our technology created are actually advancing our world.
In the 19th century, the invention, the telegraph, have pioneered the industry of real-time communications. There was only one problem, though. Back in the days, the wires, the electrical wires that are used to carry these signals are not insulated. As a result, interference from the environment, like heat or wind, would quickly reduce the signals, making it incapable of traveling far enough. This gave rise to a very particular invention, and that's the insulation materials for these electrical wires. Insulated wires would allow these signals to travel farther because they're no longer susceptible to outside interference. So as you can imagine, many innovations like AI will lead to many co-inventions. And each one of these new technologies have the ability and the potential to revolutionize many industries. So this is why AI is really fascinating, because many of the co-inventions are yet to be realized.
So with that, don't be too scared about AI. If anything, be excited about the incredible opportunities and inventions that are yet to come. We would like to invite you to try out AI yourself. Have a conversation with ChatGPT, play around with DALL-E, attend some tech conferences, and see how you might be able to apply it to your fields of interests. Stay curious, open-minded, and be excited to explore. The possibilities of a better future for all of us is endless.